In a world driven by materialism, where happiness is often equated with the accumulation of wealth and possessions, it's easy to get lost in the endless pursuit of more. But what if true happiness lies not in having more, but in needing less? What if the secret to contentment is found in simplicity? Today, we turn to the wisdom of Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary Japanese samurai who discovered that the path to true happiness is through a minimalist lifestyle. His life and teachings offer timeless lessons on how we can achieve a deep and lasting contentment by embracing simplicity and letting go of unnecessary desires. Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's most renowned swordsman, was not just a master of martial arts, but a profound philosopher. Born in 1584, Musashi led a life of simplicity and solitude, focusing on self-mastery rather than material wealth. Despite his fame, he chose to live minimally, carrying only what was essential and finding peace in nature. Musashi's wisdom offers timeless lessons on achieving true happiness through simplicity and self-discipline. In this video, we'll explore how Musashi's minimalist approach to life can guide us toward genuine contentment in our own lives. 1. Self-reliance and independence. Miyamoto Musashi lived a life of solitude, embracing self-reliance as a path to true happiness. He believed that contentment comes from within, not from external sources or other people. By relying on ourselves, we cultivate inner strength and resilience. In today's world, this principle reminds us not to depend on others or material things for our happiness. Instead, we should find fulfillment in our own abilities and character. Musashi's example teaches us that true happiness is rooted in self-sufficiency, making us less vulnerable to life's uncertainties and more secure in our sense of self. 2. Non-attachment to material possessions. Miyamoto Musashi lived with minimal belongings, understanding that material possessions often distract from what truly matters. For Musashi, the pursuit of wealth and excess could burden the mind, diverting attention from personal growth and spiritual development. In our consumer-driven society, where success is often measured by what we own, Musashi's life challenges us to reconsider our relationship with material goods. Do we really need everything we accumulate, or does it merely clutter our lives? By practicing non-attachment, we free ourselves from the constant need for more and instead focus on what genuinely brings joy and fulfillment. This mindful approach helps us create a life centered on purpose rather than possessions. Before we go further, if you enjoy enriching contents like this, please remember to click the subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you won't miss our weekly sharing of wisdom for your personal growth. 3. Embracing simplicity. Simplicity was at the heart of Musashi's lifestyle. He understood that life is often complicated by unnecessary wants and desires, and that true peace comes from focusing on what is essential. Musashi's dedication to his art was a form of simplicity. He stripped away everything that was not necessary to his practice, allowing him to achieve a level of mastery that few could match. In our own lives, we can embrace simplicity by removing the non-essential, whether it's in our daily routines, our possessions, or our mental clutter. How often do we fill our days with tasks and obligations that don't truly serve us? By simplifying our lives, we create space for what really matters, whether it's our relationships, our passions, or our personal growth. Simplicity is not about deprivation. It's about making room for the things that bring us genuine happiness. 4. Detachment from desires. Desires can often lead us astray, pulling us away from the present moment and causing us to chase after things that ultimately don't bring lasting happiness. Musashi understood this well. He lived with a deep sense of detachment, not just from material possessions, but also from the desires that drive most people, desires for wealth, status, and recognition. By letting go of these desires, Musashi was able to focus on his inner life and find contentment in the here and now. In modern life, We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more to be happy. But Musashi's life reminds us that true happiness doesn't come from fulfilling every desire. It comes from being content with what we have and who we are. This doesn't mean we shouldn't have goals or ambitions, but rather that we should be mindful of whether these desires are leading us toward genuine fulfillment or simply creating more anxiety and dissatisfaction. 5. Focus on personal mastery. Musashi's life was defined by his relentless pursuit of mastery. He dedicated himself to perfecting his martial arts skills, not for fame or fortune, but for the sake of personal growth and self-discipline. This focus on mastery brought Musashi a deep sense of fulfillment that transcended the material rewards that others might seek. In our own lives, we can find similar satisfaction by focusing on personal mastery, whether it's in our work, our hobbies, or our personal development. What would our lives look like if we dedicated ourselves to mastering something we are passionate about? By channeling our energy into improving ourselves, we can find a sense of purpose and happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances. Mastery is not about perfection. It's about continuous growth and the joy that comes from pushing our limits and expanding our capabilities. 6. Living in accordance with nature. Musashi spent much of his life in nature, often retreating to the mountains to train and meditate. He believed that living in harmony with the natural world was essential to finding peace and happiness. Nature, in its simplicity and beauty, offers us a model for how to live, a life that is in balance, where everything has its place and purpose. In our modern, technology-driven world, we are often disconnected from nature, and this disconnection can lead to stress and unhappiness. By spending more time in nature, we can reconnect with this essential part of ourselves and find a sense of calm and clarity. Whether it's a walk in the park, a hike in the mountains, or simply sitting quietly by a river, nature has the power to restore our spirits and remind us of the simple joys of life. 7. Acceptance of impermanence. One of the most profound lessons from Musashi's life is his acceptance of impermanence. He understood that everything in life is transient, our possessions, our relationships, even our own lives. This acceptance allowed him to live fully in the present moment, without fear of loss or change. In our own lives, we often struggle with the idea of impermanence, clinging to things we love and fearing the inevitable changes that life brings. But Musashi's wisdom shows us that by accepting impermanence, we can free ourselves from this fear and live more fully. This acceptance brings a deep sense of peace and allows us to experience happiness in the present, rather than constantly chasing after something in the future. Miyamoto Musashi's life offers us a powerful blueprint for how to live a simpler, more meaningful life. By applying these principles to our own lives, we can free ourselves from the distractions and anxieties that often keep us from true happiness. So, as you move forward, take a moment to reflect on how you can simplify your life. Let go of unnecessary desires and focus on what truly matters. Remember, happiness isn't about having more, it's about needing less. If you're ready to start your journey to a simpler, happier life, be sure to subscribe for more wisdom from Miyamoto Musashi and join us as we continue to explore the timeless lessons of this legendary samurai.